Silence is rare. What happens when we face it makes us uncomfortable, but its benefits are far beyond what you might think. Learning to sit in the quiet has been an activity spoken highly of by high performers in every culture across history. We've developed it into skill sets and activities. There is mindfulness meditation and silent retreats, authors who choose to travel to a lonely house to write a book, inventors that tinker in their basements, and competitors that train in remote areas of the world. If you want to be a high performer, you have to address silence. And there are many different techniques of doing so, from complex to simple. One of my favorites is to simply take a walk. Sitting down on the floor works too. It doesn't have to be complicated. But the act itself isn't usually the issue. The main complications are the questions. What does it actually do for me? And how do I get myself to do it? Learning to sit in silence does many things. It doesn't clear your mind right away. Usually the first thing that happens is you notice how busy your mind really is and it bothers you. But sitting in silence does provide you with the time and space to let some of those busy thoughts run and eventually settle. It provides you with the opportunity to come up with a more creative solution to a problem. When completely focused on a task, you develop tunnel vision. Sitting in silence allows you to broaden that vision to see a bigger picture. It allows you to rest. People generally overwork themselves, even if they think they're lazy. If you've been watching TV and eating potato chips all day, you might not have done what you wanted to do that day. But you are overworked and exhausted because you haven't moved very much, and the human body is designed to move. You've been eating food that's difficult for your body to deal with, and you've been watching a screen that triggers your body to produce a massive amount of chemicals it's not designed to deal with while sitting in one place. You can be lazy and exhaust yourself at the same time just fine. Sitting in silence allows your dopamine levels to drop enough that simple activities done afterwards can feel more fulfilling. And possibly the most important of all, sitting in silence will make you bored. It makes you rested enough to succeed at cool things, and boredom makes you want to do them. Silence does many things. It's incredibly valuable. But that still leaves us with the question, how do we do it? I'd say the way to do it is by understanding the task at hand and practicing it. You may have heard someone say the phrase, "I'm bad at meditating. I can't focus my mind for more than a couple seconds, so I don't meditate." Someone who says that doesn't fully understand the nature of meditation practice. Now, I'm not speaking specifically about meditation, but this idea is often why we don't push through on activities we would gain great benefit from. Because the person who says they don't meditate because they can't focus their mind doesn't realize that the point of meditation isn't to focus the mind, it's to bring the mind back into focus. Now, doing this will have a lovely side effect of developing your ability to focus, but the person reluctant to meditate for this reason doesn't understand that the focus itself isn't the point of the practice, it's merely a symptom. The focus of the practice is to notice when your mind wanders and then do something about it. The point of sitting down in silence can be many things, but my favorite way to look at it is this. The point is to learn how to deal with sitting in silence. Much like lifting weights makes you capable of many things you didn't practice, the practice of learning to cope with silence makes you capable of many other things. So the way to do it is to first sit down and see if you can stand it. A lot of people can't. And if you can't stand it, then your job is to notice why. For me, the first thing I usually face is guilt, and I think that one is quite common. Sitting in silence usually brings to the forefront some form of anxiety. And I want to be very clear, sitting in silence doesn't cause anxiety. It makes you notice the anxiety that's already there. So if you sit down and find yourself facing guilt that you should be working harder, that you're behind on a project, that you messed something up, then you have to be able to face the guilt in order to sit in silence, and that's damn hard. But the guilt, or whatever you're facing, is your neuroticism. It's your mind spinning, and if you can face it and watch it spin for a little bit, then there's a chance it might slow down. This requires a warrior's level of self-acceptance. But if you want to accomplish things in your life, this is the work. We have such big dreams sometimes, and we spin in circles trying to accomplish those dreams. We think if we try harder, we will get where we want to go, and that's partially true. But you have to push on the right door to get in, and we often think trying harder means doing more of the to-do list we made for ourselves. But the reality is you need to be smarter than your current to-do list, and the only way to do that is to be more sane and rested. So yes, you have to try harder. But you don't need to try harder on the thing you're already working on as hard as you can. You have to apply that massive level of discipline to making yourself a more functional human being. So sit down in silence so you can get up and do the work. Do it enough times and pretty soon you'll realize the silence itself is the work.